Welcome to WROL Broadcast. I am Hate Mail. With me today we have Kage
Yo,
and Doombox. And this is the
Flaming
meta
hot
report.
Cheetah.
We are talking about Cheetah. We have one little brief clip of Loot saying how much he dislikes a character. What a shocker.
I don't like her at all.
You don't like Cheetah at all?
Not really. I mean, she's got her leader skill is basically it gives you an alternative to run instead of Martian Manhunter. But dude, she is so squishy. I am afraid to use her because you can like blow on her and she's freaking dead.
She's not wrong. Yeah, she's Cersei with bleeds. It's so funny.
I just don't like her. I mean, she needs significant health increase for her to be somewhat useful. It's high risk, high reward, I think.
I mean,
because
Well,
you
let's
don't really get that
let's
much
save
reward.
that for the let's
Because
start the
Hippo
episode.
exists.
yeah,
I recorded
and
you
it's
saying
strength
that
ups
Loot
and
saw.
like everybody's int ups now. So it's like, do I need those? I don't know. Anyway, I gotta go. Bye.
All right, later. We'll go ahead. Let's start with you, Doombot, or you, Kage, this time. Let's get your initial Cheetah thoughts, just overall on the character.
On paper, I thought she was going to be kind of busted because, wow, you start the team off with 3 strength up. So you've just unlocked Connor or Hawkman. And so now they're going to do some crazy AoE and smack some people around. And, you know, maybe she's going to make Wonder Girl and Power Girl super oppressive. And, oh, no, that whip is hit really hard. But the more I play with her, the more I'm thinking she's kind of gimmicky. Like, a very one-dimensional, gimmicky character who she's good for that first turn, and that's it. There's literally no other reason to run her.
Doombox, what are your thoughts?
Isn't it so sad to be a character whose entire purpose is summed up in Hippolyta's 3 skill? But, I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. You run her because you want to be first in your little meter arm race or whatever, but she's... like, when I looked at her kit, basically the only thing I was concerned about, right, was the idea that she could proc her thing twice. And that was only because of consistency issues. But outside of that, I mean, like, why would you put her in over Martian Manhunter? He's infinitely more useful. And the whole thing about, oh, she's good in bleed comps. You use Red Hood for that. Oh, she's good at accelerating the characters that Kage was just saying. Power Girl and Wonder Girl and all that jazz. They don't really need acceleration. They just kind of are naturally good. She's a character who, months ago, if this rework happened, would have been pristine. She would have been an easy S tier. But given the options we have now, she doesn't even make it into the conversation.
I'm going to disagree with you on that because I think for bleed comps, if you run Red Hood against a Martian Manhunter team, a lot of times you're dead before you even get a turn. Where Cheetah will allow bleed comps to at least compete on that level with them because you're going to have a chance to get the bleeds rolling and get started before Martian Manhunter teams nuke your team. And also, I have seen, especially if you're a sandbagger style player, Cheetah strength ups let Arcus turn into an insane beast right out of the gate. I mean, he's already stupid, but when he starts with 3 strength ups, it makes him extra stupid. And then you can punch above your weight with all that strength up when you're running strength up teams. I agree with you. I think Martian Manhunter is a class above her, but she's still pretty potent. And I've been seeing more and more Martian Manhunter with Cheetah teams lately. So they go super, super fast, letting her do the strength ups. But granted, that's more in Siege. I doubt you'll see that outside of Siege. I do like, too, that her 2 now lets you purge. A lot of times you can, if it crits, you one-shot Arcus early, which is nice when she has the 3 strength ups. And then she also will purge the off taunters. So, I mean, she's squishy is the bigger downside to her, and her blood in the air passive rarely procs. So, she's not quite the insane killer I thought she was going to be out of the gate, but I think she's still a pretty solid character. She's not bad by any stretch.
Oh no. She's not like Cersei or anything, but she's not great. I mean, to be fair, the idea that you would run her to let bleed teams go first is novel and it's a nice strategy. But Red Hood's leader ability is basically better than her entire kit. And
But he has to be able to get a kill before you lose your whole team, which against Lex and Martian Manhunter teams, that often happens. You don't get a shot. You don't get a chance to go.
I mean, while that's true against Martian Manhunter teams, even with Cheetah's blood in the air, if you're slower, you're slower. And bleed teams aren't exactly the fastest people. Like
No.
Martian Manhunter, I can run CAGA and then Cheetah doesn't matter. And then that's that. Also, Cheetah guarantees that Wonder Girl gets double damage on her turn one whip. So
Yeah, that is annoying. But if Wonder Girl has 3 strength ups and is whipping, that does make her nasty.
she's already nasty. That's what I was saying earlier. Like these characters don't need help to be good. Like Arcus being a beast, he doesn't need 3 strength up to be a beast. He's just a beast. So it's like I just don't see the point bringing her. But
So I
don't
did
think she's a
have
bad
in
character.
Siege, in a revenge match that I ended up losing, Cheetah did her 3 strengths up, Arcus did his challenge, and he actually killed my Hippo on turn 1, which I didn't think he would be able to do. But
I mean, that's your own fault for not rebirthing her, man. That's on you. I don't know what to tell you there. But
that made him
I
extra stupid.
I think she's a solid A tier. I mean, you can bring her. She is good. She does bring a lot to the table. There's just better things to do.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with that assessment. Um, let's talk legendary order. I'm thinking her 5 probably you almost universally want as her first one. Anybody think differently?
I mean, that's the whole reason you bring her. So no, I think that's right.
And then
Yeah, 5.
and then obviously, well, actually there could be a case of making her 3 because that's the 20% turn meter up. So you kind of have to have that to have her 5.
Oh yeah, I forgot her turn meter was tied to a legendary.
Yeah, see
Yeah, then
maybe
you would have to go 3-5 then instead of
yeah
5-3.
yeah because if you're only legendary
Yeah,
1,
3-5.
you don't the blood in the air doesn't do you any good if you don't do the 3. So yeah, actually, so 3-5, and then
I'd say 4 after that.
yeah I was torn between 4 and 1 because the 1 is the can't miss.
Yeah, there's so many can't miss characters out there now, and it's not hard to not miss because Owlman and Steppenwolf exist. So
Well, Kane though,
plus,
Owlman and
I mean,
Steppenwolf miss Kane, and Kane is everywhere now.
that is true, but Kane just purges off the bleeds, and Cheetah doesn't do the damage. So
Yeah, it just keeps her from
And
dying from the retaliations. My only
Kane,
thing.
Kane's invisible anyway, so it's like, oh.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think you guys are probably right. Even though the
I
4
mean,
procs rarely, when it does proc, it's so powerful.
yeah, you have to double down on her blood in the air. As I said, that's why you bring her.
And then I
So
guess then either 1 or 2 next. Because the 2's, I mean, the 3 buffs is more than enough usually. The additional 3, if they're bleeding, kind of seems like a little too much of a gate to really make it super useful because you tend to use it early.
yeah, I don't know. I'd go 1-2 personally.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I could see the argument for 2-1, and it's a good argument because, yeah, it sounds like it's a hard gate, but typically you're running her with, chemo or someone that has a can't miss bleed. So it's not like it's a hard gate to achieve given her usual team comms.
Yeah, I could agree.
But, yeah, no, she's Hippolytus 3 as a character. That's all she is. It's so sad. It's so depressing. Hippolyta doesn't even have a cooldown if she has Dawn Destroy around. Why would you ever bring Cheetah?
It's funny. I actually did. My early thought legendary order was what we just decided on. So
Cool.
this actually worked out. So Kage, so we don't forget you this time. What type of team comps do you like for her?
Like I said, I like running her with Hawkman and Connor Kent because
I actually haven't
she
tried that
gives
yet,
her,
surprisingly.
yeah, because out the gate they have enough. So Hawkman, he does his basic if he has 3 strength up. So just AoE, boom. There you go. Connor can't, same thing. He's got that massive AoE. Or, now you've just unlocked his punch, which is can't miss. So, oh, and you know what? Hawkman actually gives the crit immunity. So your Cheetah isn't one shot, but she'll be at least have 1 health left to like bleed someone. But I mean, she's so like one-dimensional. Like for the free-to-play players, I know you want to compete against like the Martian Manhunter meta and the Lex meta, but honestly, like she's a very bland and boring character. And if you're like a beginner, she's not a character that that's gonna help you like grow as a player. Like Hippolyta, double down on her. Like Cheetah's good. She's not a bad character. She's just so brain dead. Like whatever.
People like the pew pew, and she fits the pew pew very well. So if you're a pew pew player,
she's not brain dead. There's a bit of depth to her. Not a lot, but there's more depth to her than say Bane.
I guess so. I don't know. She's like, you run her, you better. So the thing with Cheetah is that you better kill the other team fast. So she rewards like really fast play.
That's what I said. The pew pew players the majority of the player base likes to run the Herp Derp Power Gun Deadshot. And now it's kind of moved into Red Hood, Red Robin, Arcus, or Martian Manhunter, Red Robin, Arcus, style play. And Cheetah, most of those players, instead of running Martian Manhunter, prefer to run because their Martian Manhunter's weak, or just, they're gear 11, level 70. They'll run Cheetah to get the extra strength up so they can finish off the kill. So for those players, Cheetah is a superior option for them over Martian Manhunter because they're not playing the long game. They have to win fast or they're going to lose.
Sure. I mean, I get that, but it's the meta now. It's kind of like fashion. It's fashionable now, but it's gonna fade.
I hope so. I would love to see like a tank meta return.
Yeah, the tank meta is the meta that is going to be long. Like Hal Jordan, he's always been like in and out of the meta, but he's always been like a very solid option to like invest in. Like he's like mutual funds, He's a very safe bet,
Yeah.
Can't really go wrong.
That's why I decided to RB5 him, even though he's a little bit of as a lot of people say, kind of a boring character. But even he'll fall out of the meta for a couple months, and then he always seems to find his way back in. So
yeah, he's always ducking and weaving. Like he's solid. He's a solid investment, like long term.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's weird to think about how Jordan's actual character arc in the DC comics is very similar to how he treats the meta.
Yeah.
Like he'll be a big deal for a couple months, Parallax, Dark Knight, all that jazz, and then he'll just kind of disappear for a while. Out comes all the other guys. And then he'll come back in and bam, all of a sudden everything's Hal Jordan again. And then he'll fade away and then he'll come back again. And it's one of those things. But this isn't about Hal Jordan. This is about Cheetah. And let me tell you about some Cheetah comp that I think she's best in. And this is going to sound really, really weird because she's not in the leader position. But surprisingly, she works decently well outside the leader position with the proper comp, of course. But you would probably want to run Red Hood, Brainiac, Cheetah, and Arcus. And I know it's the stupid Herp Derp team that I was just saying that she's definitely not a part of. But like the whole thing that you're losing the meter is somewhat circumvented with Brainiac. And she's a really fast character on her own. Like, you would be probably decently surprised. A lot of people would at just how absurdly fast she is. But I think after they upgraded her speed, she's tied with Robin now, who's just below the Flashes. So, a small difference in meter by bringing Brainiac instead of Martian or her in first is not going to be that consequential because she's just that much faster than everyone else around her. And then you pop her thing. Everyone gets their turn meter up. Red Hood basically obliterates any blue that's in existence. Arcus kills anything that's in existence. And Brainiac provides good stuns and decent control along with Cheetah. Because his, what's it called, Shrink Ray, combined with her Purge and such, you can actually get through a lot of different comps that would be really hard to get through otherwise. Just because you're so much faster than them, paired with the fact that you're just denying their options. You can take that Wonder Girl, slap some strength down on her, and then just purge off whatever buff she got from you buffing. And then all of a sudden, she's not really much of a threat anymore. It's really not bad.
A comp I've been seeing, if you've never watched Joshua R's, what's it called, Twitch stream, it's highly entertaining. He's a Gear 11 level 70 player with a semi-limited roster, but he's a fun streamer. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out. He streams every weekday. We're gonna have him on probably next week. But a team I'd seen him use since he took Cheetah up against all the 40k Uber teams is he's just running Cheetah, Red Robin, Arcus, and Etrigan, Doom's favorite character. And that pretty much seems to blast through just about everything. That seems to be the new version of the Hired Gun Deadshot Red Robin comp, that it's simple, but Arcus punches so far above his weight, and then Cheetah just enables him to do it faster and be even stronger to take care of characters that other greens and things that he may not always be able to punch out. But a team I have a lot of fun with running was 2D-tron runs this team, and his is stronger because he has an RB5 Talia, is Cheetah, Talia, Chemo, and there was a fourth one. It was another bleeder, but I'm trying to think. Oh, Red, Cassandra Cain.
Cassandra?
Yeah. And it's a pretty potent team. Works really well. I mean, you bleed the crap out of people. My stun comps actually struggle against it because of his RB5. I had to run the Hal Jordan version. The normal ones didn't do as well. So, I mean, definitely you can run some pretty potent bleed teams that can go. That can ramp fast because Chemo does the speed down, so it lets you take a few extra, get all your bleeds on before the other team gets to go. It works pretty good. I tried to run a super disease comp because she does work with diseases as well. So I tried to do her, Cheetah, Man Bat, and Captain Atom, but I don't know, it didn't hang very well against hardly anything.
Actually, another character that I paired her with that I was surprisingly pleased with, well, not surprisingly, I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was Huntress. Because there's a surprising amount of characters who are just barely out of Huntress's range, where with her strength up and the meter plus how fast she is, she's able to block them out right out of the gate. Pair that with Hippolyta, who can basically just give you another blood in the air right out of the gate, and put a Power Girl on the end of that. Man, it's such absurd damage. Plus, Huntress gets to fire her off-turn things, and that heal immunity. No revives are getting through that. And on top of that, it's just doing such absurd damage. As soon as a character dies, it's doing basically double damage. Like, that's a pretty messy comp. That comp could fight a fair bit above its own weight class if you give it a chance to.
I haven't seen that many Power Girls, surprisingly, with Cheetah, and you would think that's a match made in heaven right there.
You would think so.
But any other thoughts on Cheetah before we wrap this up, Kage?
No, I'm actually surprised how good she is now. Like, she's a good character now. Like, if you are short on blue leaders, yeah, take her up. But
yeah, I'd say if you run strength makes characters or you like bleed comps, she's a character you want to take up. She's easily obtainable. So
yeah, really farmable, so easy to get. She's a poor man's Martian Manhunter, I guess. But I guess if you had to choose between the two reworks to get, I'd pick Hippo any day. But she's not a bad option by any means. So she's a good character.
I think if you're lower, you have a limited roster though. She fills a niche that you may not have, and she's going to allow you to punch above your weight a little bit. So she's probably a good investment for if you have a limited roster.
I think you're kind of
She's
underselling
definitely
Hippo.
not bad. I mean, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, I was just gonna say Hippo is just better in every way. But yeah,
I
go
think Hippo's a better character overall if you have a decent roster, but Hippo's not going to allow you, if you don't have Martian Manhunter or Cheetah, you're going to lose the speed advantage, and if you have weaker characters taking on stronger teams, you're going to have a hard time competing.
And she's a character that I will give credit to in terms of accessibility. If you've played this game for any amount of time, you probably have Cheetah shards. She's just been in PvP packs for so long, and so it's one of those things that Hate's right. She's an easily farmable character, even though they removed her from the packs. It's still not hard to get her, and basically anyone who's been playing for any amount of time has enough of her that investing in her is not necessarily a bad idea. Now, mind you, I wouldn't say go off the handle and buy a bunch of shard packs of her. Excuse me. But you know, there's definitely worse characters out there. She is a good blue leader, which there's surprisingly few of, and yeah, she lets you really throw down with a bunch of teams that you probably wouldn't have a chance against otherwise.
Yeah, and that's why I think as a newer player, she's easy to obtain. She's going to serve you well. You won't be disappointed with gearing her. Hippo's a great choice. I mean, she's an awesome character, but she's not as accessible. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Thanks for listening.
Hey, I'm Josh Ars. Thank you for listening to the WROL broadcast. If you like the show, consider becoming a Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/WROL broadcast and get early reviews on new characters. And for even more Legends action, check out my daily stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/JoshRars and watch me hunt down those owls on the PvP boards.